Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey guys.
So, breaking news. We're not going to Jamaica anymore for my 30th birthday.
We're not.
CDC changed their guidelines, so now when you come back into the U.S., you have to test for Rona again.
Correct.
And we're not taking that chance and getting stuck over there for 14 days. So.
Nobody has the funds for that. So we didn't know if that was going to be on our dime, but either way, we have jobs. I've got kids. Like, I got to get back. So, yeah. So. We're going to get into something super fun today, but first let's pour up a glass. We already have ours prepared, so join us, will you? You'll need it.
You'll need it.
You're listening to Tash and Nix.
Yeah, earlier this week I had sent Tash a video, and it was DaniLeigh, whatever her name is, but
DaniLeigh.
Yeah, and I sent her a video and asked her thoughts on it. Oh shoot, the song.
It's a new song.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
Yellowbone? I don't even know if that's the official name for it. Yellowbone's what he wants.
I think so. But we're gonna pull it up and we're gonna hear that real quick.
Pull up a little snippet of it so you can hear that.
Let's see if we can.
Yellow bonus, what he loves, what he loves. Yellow bonus, what he does, what he loves, what he wants. Gotta be a set of
That's enough. So
that would be enough of that.
Yeah. So we kind of no. First of all, the song is trash.
The song is horrific, absolute trash,
garbage, if you will. So, not only that, the message behind the song it's also equally trash. So,
yeah. You know, a lot of people were comparing it to Brown Skin Girl.
No.
And I thought that was ridiculous. There's no comparison. Brown Skin Girl is just talking about black women in general embracing whatever skin tone that they are. It's not saying one skin tone is better than the other.
Nope.
And you even said the video shows all types of skin tone, black women in it. So I don't get the comparison with that at all.
It's not, and I hate that. I hate that people are comparing it. They're like, well, what's the difference? Okay, what bothers me about her is that she then takes the song down. Well, before she took the song down, she justified it. Then she finally took the song down and came out with some half-ass apology, but then continued to repost people who were saying things like, what about brown skin girl? It's not the same thing. And not only that, we all know that darker skinned women are severely underrepresented, and brown skin girl, the song Brown Skin by NDRE, those songs were to celebrate skin tones. They weren't specific. You know, I know you had said that you didn't know if she, meant it in that way or whatever, but it's like, it's 2021 now.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for ignorance anymore.
I feel like I can say about her, I don't feel that there was like a malicious intent behind it or she was just trying to just hurt somebody. But it's 2021. She's old enough to know way better. Yeah. And to know that that's a really sensitive subject. And then to make a song like praising light-skinned women, it's supposed to be like a light-skinned anthem. There's already plenty of light-skinned anthems.
You already hear it in, you see it represented. You hear about it all the time. There is, you know how there's a white privilege? There is a light skin privilege. That's an actual thing. It's rooted deeply in racism. It's a trickle-down effect of it, And to me, the ignorance of it all, there's just no excuse. You're an artist, but what's your integrity at the end of the day? There might be girls of all skin tones looking up to you. And here you are with the yellow bonus, what he wants, Some people, I think, thought it was a shot at his baby's mom, who's darker skinned. And I mean, I don't know either way. Who knows, but either way, it's just, it was very poor poor taste on her part,
Very poor taste, like a horrible move for her. I don't know why you would ever think to do something like that, but.
And then when you thought the fuckery wasn't over, I sent you another video of Rick Ross, and it was a resurfaced video from a while ago, and the girl was just saying, if you want to know an example of colorism, well, here it is. And it was like, a lighter skinned woman was singing. And like, if you don't know anything about it, it was a lighter skinned woman was singing and it was trash. And then a darker skinned woman sung the same song, like with a different melody. It was like an angel touched her voice, box. And they were like, you're trash. You know what I mean? Like, they chose a light skinned woman. Like, what?
Yeah. They basically are more attracted to a light skinned woman, so they chose her in the video. And that's crazy. That type of thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always in hip hop. I remember watching some documentary a while ago about it, and like Rick Ross was like, "Oh, that's just the director. It's what they want to go with." And I'm like, "Come on, overall at the end, who's the person that's choosing this?"
Yeah.
It's like, stop. You know why you're choosing these people to be on film, and it's another way to literally whitewash our beauty and our culture and our history, and it's frustrating. I'm not saying like people who aren't light skinned should not be represented as well, but they already are.
Yeah, they already are.
Like, what?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
That's crazy. I remember like being a kid, and if you ever had like older elders be like, "Don't play out there in the sun too long because you're gonna get dark." Like, just like little comments about that, and how they even made like being dark skinned seem like a bad thing or a negative thing, or you just didn't want to, you didn't want to get too brown.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember like people would be like, the first time I ever heard it, I never heard it until my aunt came from the Caribbean. She was visiting us when we were really little. And I remember she's like, "Don't go outside too long. You're going to get too black." And I just remember thinking like, huh? Like, I remember kind of looking at my skin like, what? Because I never heard that. Truthfully, my mom never said anything like that to us. So it was confusing to me because I was like, is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, I was genuinely confused. And you definitely hear it. Like, as I got older, I heard it. As I got older, I remember going to like high school, and there's like a dark skinned guy. I remember always thinking like, man, his skin is so pretty in my head. And he would wear bright colors. And I remember people being like, "Now you're too black to wear that purple." I'm like, huh? I didn't know that you couldn't wear certain colors if you're dark skinned.
Yeah.
I personally think beautiful colors on dark skin is gorgeous, like such a huge contrast, and it's beautiful. So I definitely remember that, like in high school. Do you recall stuff like that in high school?
I recall like people being called like things like crispy or black is like blue black, stuff like that. If they were like real dark skinned or whatever. I think it's ironic because like today, like I love men are like black of the berry skin. Correct. For me. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things that especially when I was dating, like I always, and I mean like always, have just had a liking, and I was drawn to darker skin. It's just striking. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've always thought it was just so beautiful, and I don't know. I don't understand that concept. And do you consider yourself light skinned?
I've just considered myself brown, like somewhere in between.
Same. I feel like I'm brown too. Like I
know people that would consider me to be light skinned, whatever. But
I've heard it before too, but I'm definitely pretty brown. Like, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I've heard even like, I had a guy friend who's very dark skinned, and he was like, "I just don't want to have any dark skinned children. I want to be with a light skinned woman because, I don't want to have dark skinned children." I'm like, pause. You do know that just because you have kids with light skinned women doesn't guarantee that you're going to have light skinned children. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
I mean, some people would consider you to be light skinned, and maybe your ex-husband to be dark skinned, but you still have beautiful dark-skinned children.
And I praise them because I know that they're going to grow up in a world where people are going to talk about their skin tone in a negative way.
Yeah.
So if I can't positively reinforce that prior to them getting into that world hurting them, then you know what I mean? Like, what have I done as a parent? I failed. Yeah. So I definitely, and my daughter, we have had that talk before because she does notice that we're different skin tones, and she has absolutely said it to me before, like, why aren't we the same color? And I was like, oh my God, am I not doing my job as a mom? Yeah. And I just told her, I was like, when God created you, he made the best version of me. So he made you the color you're supposed to be. because you are
Yeah.
perfect, you know. I just try to turn it around always, and my son, you know, because I don't want internalized racism to somehow like eat at their what is it called? Like their, what the hell is the word?
Their soul.
Well, you know, I don't want them to make insecurities for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's just crazy that they would even have insecurities for me. Like, I may be biased, but she has two of the most beautiful kids I've ever seen. Period.
I love them.
Two of the most beautiful dark-skinned kids I've ever seen. Polite, like, perfect kids.
I love them.
And it's just crazy that they're going to grow up in a world that, like, thinks that, and more so for your daughter, I think, than your son. Because I think a lot of, like, there used to be, like, a phase where, like, light-skinned men were, like,
they were
and, like, you love, like, those Chris Brown-looking, like, light-skinned men with light eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, when I was in high school, that was, like, the thing.
Yeah.
But then it was, like, Morris Chestnut, like, paved the way.
He did, okay? And Omar Epps, okay?
He's still paving the way.
Lord.
My heart, lost my train of thought just think about that. But they really made, like, being a dark-skinned man, like, the thing, you know. And it's sad they even had to make it a thing like that. But
correct. And I feel like, you know, to me, I like people who pave the way for others, and I like that representation. But it is frustrating to me because even with that being said, a lot of times, especially like in movies, we're portrayed as the villains, especially the darker you are. You know what I mean? It's like you're always portrayed as a villain. If you're a dark-skinned woman, you're portrayed as what? The help. You're portrayed as somebody who's working for another person. You're not the boss, you know. Yeah. You are ignorant or ghetto. You know, you're loud. They suit, or they cast the person best suited for their own ideologies, and then force it on us, and then force it on America, and then people they then like, not, the word isn't indulge, but they digest that information, and then it just like a full circle of hate, you know, and self-hate. And that's really why I feel like colorism exists. It's strictly because of self-hate, and it's taught, you know.
I'm happy that your daughter at least has, like, people, like, to look up to, like Kelly Rowland is a beautiful dark-skinned woman, Viola Davis, Cicely Tyson, God bless her soul. Rip to her. She's such a legend.
Yeah.
Like,
iconic. Whenever
I think of, like, a just, like, powerful black woman that, like, really left a mark, she's, like, one of the first people.
Poised, intelligent. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about her. Like, honestly, never. And she was funny. I mean, she lived a really long and fulfilling life, and I think that is amazing. That's the most anyone can ask for. And the fact that she was a dark-skinned woman paving the way, like, that's a big deal. You know, especially, like, she was 96. So think about all the things that she's seen, that she's witnessed. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. I think she's awesome.
Yeah, Cicely is an icon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just happy she lived a long, fulfilled life. But, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't want to admit that this is an issue in our community. I feel like a lot of people want to, like, brush it under the rug or make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. But, like, I know me, for example, I was looking at this study, and the study is actually posted on a website called .com, and it was based off of a Harvard study. And in the study, they used this chart, and they mapped people out by skin tone from very light to very dark, right? And then from that, the survey that they did, the survey was done a long time ago. It was about 15 years ago. But that data 15 years ago is still used to this day for analysis. And Black people are already 10 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people. However, this statistic that I read really, like, threw me for a loop. It said that after accounting for differences like gender and level of education, they found that African Americans overall had a 36% chance of going to jail at some point in their lifetime, period, no matter what. at some point in their lifetime, they have a 36% chance of going to jail. However, with that being said, darker skinned African Americans have nearly a 66% chance of going to jail in their lifetime, which is 30% chance more than just being African American. So they literally, like, it's like a double-edged sword. Not only are you black, you're dark skinned, so it's automatic. And these things, like this study that they did at Harvard, it's just like a microcosm of the whole entire world in our public education system. The same thing happens. It says like black children are more punished, but even the darker they are, the more severe the punishment as well. They get harsher sentences as well. Like it's something like, the thing is like colorism is not as actually widely researched for some reason. And I don't get that either, but it's clearly something that's a problem. Like, think about apartheid in South Africa, you know, think about the paper bag rule that they had here in America, like the one drop rule as well. And think about the privileges that were given to African Americans who were considered octoroons, or, you know, meaning that they were mixed blood and they had a little bit more privileges than those who were darker skinned, you know. It's bizarre.
Back in slavery times, if you were like of a lighter complexion, you received like access to a lot more education. You were able to work inside the home. It doesn't mean that you weren't a slave and you didn't go through things.
Correct.
Definitely not what I'm saying. So a lot of those house slaves, especially women, also were subject to a lot of rape back then as well. So it doesn't mean that it was any better, but their life was definitely a little bit easier compared to a field slave.
And they were aware of that, you know, and that literally still affects us to this day, you know. And I've definitely heard people say really ignorant, nasty things about darker skinned people. I even remember being in college, and this guy that had been trying to date me, we went out one night at like a club. The next day, I thought he was kind of cool, but I was still feeling him out. And the next day we had a conversation on the phone, and he was like, you know, normally I date like really light skinned women, and you just made it. That's exactly what my response was. I was like, huh.
Wow.
I was like, so I just made it? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
How about this? I was like, how about you never call me again? And I mean, I meant it. Like, I couldn't believe he said that to me, you know?
Yeah.
What about like people who kind of like colorism, like the good hair thing? Have you heard that before from your friends?
I've definitely heard that, especially from like men that are like, oh, I want to have a baby with a mixed race woman, so my baby can have some good hair. So that usually goes along with light skin, although there's no correlation to what
correct
you need to be good hair to having light skin.
And you can definitely still have a mixed child and have a kid with what you deem not to be good hair.
Yeah.
It can happen. Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's, to me, like, fetishizing colonizers' expectations is a problem for me. You know what I mean? Like, we have to like look internally inside of us and figure out, why are we liking these types of things? Why do we feel this way? Like, if your own mother looks a certain way and you're like, oh, I only want this type of woman, there's a problem.
I think the whole like light skin with good hair too comes from the fact that a lot of black women, before they started embracing their natural hair more like they do today, used to use relaxers and stuff like that, and that actually breaks off their hair, so they would have really short hair, natural hair at that point. So people automatically assume, especially white people, that black women have short hair. Yeah. But actually our hair in a natural state grows faster. Yes. It's thick. My hair is so thick. Thicker than it's ever been when I had a relaxer. Yeah. And it's just a whole lot of like preconceived notions about our hair out there that isn't even like true.
No. I'm glad that we are learning about our hair now, because the same thing with you. Like, I do have a different type of hair, and I do feel like growing up, I didn't know how to take care of my hair, and people didn't know how to take care of my hair. Yeah. And that was just facts. Like, when my parents moved us to like the middle of nowhere, Kansas, like, I didn't know what to do with my hair. I remember I went to a hairdresser and I told her, she like put a relaxer on my hair, and after she like washed it, it was still wavy, and she was like, I don't know what happened. And I'm just like, that's just my hair. So then she blow dried it, and you know, some people, I didn't know this until after I saw it in college, but some girls blow dry their hair after a relaxer and it's straight. My hair wasn't. It was like kind of poofy. This woman was about to put another relaxer on my head. And I had to tell her no because I was like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. You know,
You're not.
She didn't understand my hair
Girl,
type.
she would have fucked you.
Okay, I'm in a bald head scallywag.
I've had a black beautician say to me before, like, oh yeah, don't worry, you don't even have inward hair.
No.
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh my God.
okay. Like, I didn't even ask your opinion on my hair texture, but
that.
okay. She thought she was making me feel better. But like, that was like a compliment to say I don't have inward hair.
She was black, right?
Yeah, she was black.
But still, like,
yeah.
No, I've had a girl, I sat down at this one hairdresser in Austin, and she's like, is this a Jerry curl? I was like, no, it's my hair. Like, what?
That's when you should have got up. Yeah. You know what? This is it.
I was like, no, it's mine. This is just how my hair grows.
Thank you, but I won't be seeking your services.
Yeah, like I didn't know what to do at that point, and it took me forever to find someone that could just do my hair. But now I've done a lot of research on my own. We kind of share tips or something. Like you just bought some new hair products. I'm like, oh, tell me how this works on your head.
Yeah.
I'm so glad of my own journey and my own like self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the same thing, like you were saying, like people associated like black girls without being able to grow their own hair, etc., or if they were wearing a weave or whatever. There are plenty of girls who wear wigs and weaves that have hair to their behind.
Yeah,
like,
they
what?
really do. Like, you'd be surprised how much hair they have under that. Yeah, they think just because you're wearing a protective style that you have like 1 inch hair.
Yeah,
Stuff like that, but that's not true.
No, not at all. But yeah, you should definitely, like, if you're a type of person who get to the point where you're like, oh, you only want this type of thing, or you only want this type of child, or you know what I mean, you're fetishizing somebody, you should probably like look into why you feel that way. Because the worst thing you could probably do is raise kids that hate themselves, and then they in turn will grow up and hate themselves and hate you as well.
Yeah.
You know, and will reject anything that has to do with their own true blackness. Like, it's not cool to me.
There's a lot of problems with that in hip hop as well, because that does like praise lighter skin when it's like talking about a red bone,
Yeah,
or, you know, yellow bone. That throughout the years, for me, that's always praised like lighter skin women.
it is. It really is, and it's irritating, and it's hard to. I like when they finally like when really good, conscious, or maybe like rappers like Wale will include all types of skin tones. When Kendrick Lamar did the same thing as well, you know, like it just frustrates me to no end that people pretend like they have no power in these situations when they know good and damn well they can request whatever they want. It's your money, your video, your shoot. Stop playing. Like, you know what you're doing. You're just playing into, you know, the mindset of the masses, and it's not cool because no matter what, light or dark, they're still racist. Like, they still don't like nan one of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, either way it goes, it's just not cool, and you could take a stand against it.
Yeah.
You know,
When you get pulled over by police or not, is she?
they're not gonna be like light skinned. Yeah, team light skin. That really irritates my soul. I literally lost a friendship over a lot of other things, but that one thing really pissed me off because she would always be like, team light skin. I'm like, you're not black, like at all. Like, stop. Yeah. They're not even black. I'm like, you have dark children. Yeah. Are they not on your team? Like, what are you talking about?
That just shows, like, in 2021, colorism is still an issue, and that showed you how much slavery really affected, like, our people.
And still does.
Deeply rooted. Yeah. It still does.
And it's frustrating because you would think, like me, I was raised really strong in my culture, straight up. However, even in my culture, it is still an issue. My mom was very big on making sure that none of us felt different, because when you come from a Caribbean family, you literally have people like light, like my brother, super light, all the way till dark. I didn't even know one of my sisters experienced that type of stuff until she told me, and I was like, what? And until adulthood. I was like, wait, you were talked about because you were dark skinned? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I had no idea that someone did that to you, because I just was living in this little bubble. Yeah. And again, like I said, my mom and nor dad had ever said anything negative ever about our skin color. Never once. So to me, I thought that's how everyone in the Caribbean thought. I was wrong. I realized my mom treated us that way because her mom did not treat her very well because of her skin tone. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You know, like it's deeply rooted. It affects us all. It's disgusting to me. Yeah. And it's just not fair. And We all have to have some sort of responsibility in getting over that and celebrating us all and stop being so divisive. They already do that. We don't need to do it amongst ourselves. Like,
yeah, we don't.
There's no point. Needed to drink on that one now. Super frustrating. But yeah, hopefully you guys, maybe have that real discussion with each other, with your friends, family members. If it's something that does affect you and you see yourself doing it, change it, correct it. Advocate for each other, light, dark, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, we need to call to action because it's ridiculous.
It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us again for another conversation.
Yay.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Please do.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bitch.